Hello, everybody. It does look like, there we go. I get the pop up on the phone. Hello, good evening. It is April 22nd, 2025, and I am live tonight to do some crafting. I was going to say stamping, but it's more papering than stamping this evening. If you're watching this on the replay, hello, welcome. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you are not already, and make sure to leave a comment or just several comments as I craft along. I am live most Tuesdays at this time, which is just about 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So there is a lot that is kind of going on right now. I sent out a newsletter this morning. So as a reminder, make sure that you go into your account, your Stampin' Up! Account online, and make sure that you opt in to the new rewards program. So you start to earn 10% rewards on your purchases of $20 or more, which does now include Paper Pumpkin. Now with the Paper Pumpkin price increase, you will start to earn $2, which is what the cost of the increase was, back in rewards starting with the May Paper Pumpkin. That is a lot. Speaking of Paper Pumpkin, tomorrow and Thursday there is going to be a sale on Paper Pumpkin refills, add-ons, and past kits. You do have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber to take advantage of that sale. So I would encourage you to go over, subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. I hope that the link is in the description. I feel like I have Paper Pumpkin in there, but I may not, so we shall see. I don't think I can tell now on the video, but you can go over to stampinup.com and you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin from the Stampin' Up! Website when you log in. And then once you're subscribed, you can start purchasing those past kits and refills, which I have used some of my kits to make scrapbook page layouts. So it would be a really great way for you, if you're a scrapbooker, to get some really neat products for your scrapbooks. But they also make great cards, or most of the time it's cards. Sometimes it's something else as well. Hello, good evening to my mom, who just said hello through the live chat. Let's see. Also, starting tomorrow through Friday is going to be free shipping for orders over $75. And I know a lot of you ordered last week, and I do appreciate that, but just so you know, I missed out on free shipping as well. I placed an order. We do not know when free shipping is going to happen, but if you haven't ordered yet, way to procrastinate. You do have to have a $75 order to qualify for free shipping, and remember, with $75 you're going to earn $7.50 in rewards, 10% off of your retail. So you can shop the Paper Pumpkin refill sale starting tomorrow and Thursday and get free shipping. Now, free shipping goes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is, excuse me, the 22nd through the 25th. Wow. Excuse me. Just for my local people, there is still plenty of time to sign up for the crop that I'm hosting. I do believe that is May 10th. I also have designer series paper and ribbon shares. I have that posted over on my Facebook page. It was also attached to the newsletter that I sent out last week and this week. And I do need those payments by like the 3rd of May, I believe, is what I have on there. The next catalog goes live on the 5th or the 6th. It's that Tuesday. So that gives me a couple of days for people who are super struggling and procrastinating. If you're going to be at the crop, it's just no way that I will have the shares at the crop, because the catalog goes live the Tuesday and then it's the crop. I don't know. I suppose it's possible now that I really think about it. Let me look at the calendar. I said, like, absolutely no way will the shares be there. No, because the catalog goes live on the 6th and the crop is the 10th. So the shares will not be ready then, but I will get them to you or mail them to you as needed. Oh, good. You got your order today. I got my order today as well. And I just thought I would show, look at this box. I've never had a box like this. And this is the paper bouquet kit. And it's like this long skinny box. It's 12.5 by 8.5. And it's got the little wires for the bouquet. And it's going to make these paper flowers. And there's the little beads. And I do think I'll have to use my hot glue gun, which I'm pro using that hot glue gun. So I'm very excited to put this together to make these really cute, springy, summery, I think they can go spring and summer, flowers. I just bumped that camera. Does it even say how many? It's a lot of flowers. It's a lot of wires. There's definitely a lot of things. And there's even little safety things so I don't poke myself with the wires. So I am happy that I did get that kit. I also ordered a new pack of grid sheets, always a good thing to add on. And I ordered some two-tone cardstock, mostly for an activity for the crop. I wanted to make sure for that. So if you're coming to the crop, I'll have a little interactive activity for you with two-tone cardstock, only if you want to do it. You don't have to. So let's get crack-a-lackin' today on the project. And let's see, how's the camera? Okay, good. I bumped the camera and it still looks pretty decent. So today's project is the fault line technique. And it's something that I had seen done several times and then I kept seeing it a lot in the last few weeks. And it's something that I had been wanting to try. And so I watched several videos trying to figure out how to do it. And I've come up with two ways that I'm going to show you because there was some trial and error. So the paper that I'm using for the demonstration will be the Country Woods DSP, and this is continuing to be available into the new annual catalog, just so you're aware. In the Unbounded Beauty DSP, I believe this is going to be online. I don't think it's in the new catalog, but both of these are still available. So if you like these papers, you might consider them to add them to your order with your free shipping. But this Unbounded Beauty features a lot of the in colors for the 24, 26 in colors, right? Yes, the now old, so the Petunia Pop, and the Shy Shamrock, the Summer Splash, the Peach Pie, those are in colors. And then the Country Woods, I think, is just a great staple to have. And my hope is that the two that I'm making today with you are hopefully going to look masculine. Because when you're using this paper with these bright colors and the florals, it's very feminine. I was like, oh, let's try to do something masculine. So again, we're going to show two ways to make this card. There's actually more than two ways. But these are the two ways that I personally will be making this card as I go forward through my crafty life. So the first one, I think I'm going to call this the more traditional way to make this card, but with an Anne Marie twist. So I have a card base here that is 9.5, okay, by 4 1/4. And it's scored at 10.5. No, 5.5. It depends. 5.5. So if you were to cut a 4 1/4 by 11 and chop off 1.5 inches, and then you have it scored at 5.5. So it's like a normal sandwich board card with 1.5 inches cut off. Then we're going to have two designer series papers. We have this one here, which is cut at 4 1/4 by 3. Okay, 4 1/4 by 3. And then this one, I have 4. Let me make sure I do this right. 4 3/16 by 5 7/16. You could do 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because that's this size of paper here, but I just do it a skosh under. It could be even less than a 1/16 of an inch under, and I'll show you why I do that. So we have our card base and we have our smaller piece of designer series paper. And you're going to layer it on the this flap here. This is the front of the card. And you're going to hold it there. Or if you're kind of crafty, you can use a clip, maybe, like one of these binder clips to help you hold it. If you struggle with that, just as a tip, it's not necessary. I'm going to try to hold it, and I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to tear this diagonally. Diagonally. Okay. You could go this direction or this direction. For me, I'm just going to do this direction. And there is really no right or wrong way to do this. So now I have this. I'm looking to make sure I know what I'm doing. So this piece is actually going to end up going underneath, just to kind of give you an idea. And this was going to be like this. But before I do that, I want to like take this torn edge or the fault line edge, and I'm just going to curl it up a little bit. And then this, the same thing. I did think maybe using two-tone cardstock base might be kind of fun with this as well, because we're getting that exposed edge. You can certainly come through and sponge your edges if that's something you would like to do. It's not necessary. You could even maybe use your bone folder to kind of flip that back. I wouldn't use your scissors because you don't necessarily want it to be shaggy. You just want it to kind of give this curled, kind of this curl look. And I have to say, I have several samples, and as I kind of perfected how I wanted to make these, I kind of got a little bit better at doing this. Because some of mine I was a little rough, a little too rough with. So we're going to use Tombow to adhere this. And I'm just going to put a little bit at the top here for right now. And I have, this is kind of one of those cards you've got to, turn and twist. And then I'm going to kind of let that set. And I'm going to come through and add a little bit more adhesive. Let's get this fold here. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one. I might have that show a little bit more. So now I'm just going to come through and just lift up this little flap here and put a little Tombow there. And then I think it's going to be pretty good. And then here. So I'm just put the adhesive there at the bottom, and I got a little off kilter here. Imagine that, off kilter with a fault line card. So now we have this look here. And then I have this piece. Now, this you could, and this is going to attach to the back flap. So then you're going to see this on the inside. Oh, I see people here. Hey, Nikki. Ooh, love the look. Good, good, good. And I could be this way as well. But that's why I did this, and I'll explain why it's this size. So this is going to adhere on the back here. Here, here, here. Again, I like Tombow for this card because it does allow us to kind of wiggle around a little bit. And again, I think cutting this piece just under the full card front size, so like just a 16th under that 5.5 by 4.25, makes this a little easier. And then this is going to adhere here. But what's kind of cool about this card is if I want more of this one to show, I can just come to my trimmer and cut 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch off. I think I'm gonna trim 1/2 inch off because we can always trim more. And see, now I have a larger piece showing here. So I'm gonna lay this flat. And really, we kind of want this to be the bottom. So it is kind of a finesse situation. So then I can make sure I line it up to the inside portion here. And I have a little bit sticking out, so I could come through. You know, you could actually just trim that down with your trimmer. Maybe I can, there we go. It still was moving a little bit. So then I'm going to come back again, because I just don't want that, just a little dab of glue. And then I can kind of come through here. I actually found using the little palette speckly thing on the Take Your Pick tool, and then just using my finger, my nail, to kind of lift. So I'm a little off there, but I'm not that worried about it. Since this is a Night of Navy, I do have this to go inside. And then you're going to be able to see the other side of the paper when you open it. And I pre-stamped some happy birthday sentiments. So options to zhuzh this version up. We could emboss the front. So we could have embossed the Night of Navy, you know, with the, like a wood grain embossing folder would have been cool. Or the like polka dots, whatever floats your boat. I'm just doing a little dovetail on this happy birthday here. That looks terrible. So now we're just going to do a diagonal right here, just like that. That looks pretty good. And look, I'm still using these dimensionals from a paper pumpkin. And let's see. I wasn't going to do full bling, but what do I have here? Oh, maybe these tan ones. What do you think? Does this look masculine enough? Ta-da! So let me show you the samples that look like this one, because then we're going to do another version. So in the other version, depending, might be a little easier. I don't know. I like the way that this looks though, right? How do we like this? So I have this one. So here I just stamped on, I used a white base, and then you have this as the back. And you can see like the little fault lines are all a little different. Here is this one. So then you see that on the inside. that one's different. So we'll talk about that one. That one's different. So the first one that I did like this, the gal used 2 pieces of paper, or how did she do it? I don't know. This piece was smaller. It wasn't a full front, because then she said, oh, take a panel and cover it all up. And I didn't really like that because I think it's a little messy. You see the lip there. And I'm like, well, why didn't we just do the full front? And she had inked this. I didn't do a very good job of inking it. I like the color. I like the card, but I liked this better by just using that full DSP piece in the back. And it's going to stand up. They're going to stand up just fine. It doesn't need that piece behind it. And it's a fun way to show off our papers since we have these 2-sided papers. Now, I do think it would be cool if you did a sparkle maybe in the middle. Not going to be 2-sided, so maybe you would consider putting a panel. It does add a little weight to the card, so that's just something to consider. What do you think about the white? I think the white is very, very pretty. But I do like the Night of Navy, and I do think it's good enough for a guy, yeah? Okay, next version. We have a standard card base, and I'm just using a white card base. And then I have 3 pieces of the DSP, and these are all that 4 3/16 by 5 7/16. So just the skosh under the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay. Again, just to make the lineup a little easier. And the 16th on the trimmer is the tiniest one. But if you don't even want to do the 16th, just line it up at 5 1/2 and just scooch it over off that mark, just a scooch. So for this one, so we have 3 pieces of DSP. We have the plain base. This I want to be the canyon. So we're going to put this one off to the side. And then these 2 are the other, let me make sure I'm thinking this right. Yes, this one, okay. So I'm just going to line these up and I'm going to tear them. I'm going to tear them this way. I think I want the blue to be the front. And we could flip it. You know, there's options. If you tear it and don't like it, you could flip it. I'm going to keep it this way though. So the same thing, we're going to floof up our fault line. Floof. Floop. Floop. It's a fluff, and curl. So it'd be like more of a floral. We're going to floral. I do kind of like floop though. Floop. Are you asking about this one? This is the Country Woods DSP. It is available currently. It's in the current annual catalog, and we get to keep it for another year, which is fantastic. Great neutral. It's like a go-to for a scrapbook page base too, I think. I see so many people use it for scrapbook pages. It's all wood tone. I want the blue on top. That's what I decided. So then we're going to floop up this one too. And I don't know. There's always... I hope you all try this and come up with your own flooping technique. I think that's the floop might be the most difficult thing. But what's kind of cool is you've torn it. So if you do a little extra tear or something on accident, it's not going to be that big of a deal at all. So now we're going to adhere these together, and I'm just going to do the top. So I'm going to put a little adhesive on behind the blue. Again, I'm going to use Tombow because that's going to allow me to squiggle wiggle. So just on the back the blue. Could easily have done it the other way, right? With the gray on top would have been just as cool. So now I'm going to come in with my canyon piece. And this is where I get to decide what I really want it to look like. Ooh, maybe I want it to look like this. I think I do. I think I want it to look like this. That's why we love two-sided paper. So I'm going to, again, concentrate just on the top because I can come back and add adhesive. And again, these were all three the same size to start with. And I like a bigger canyon for this one. You know, it is a preference. So I'm not going to let my glue go too far. But now, when I flip this over, and I know all these wood tones are going to blend into each other, I want to trim everything that's outside of this piece here. And I could get my trimmer, or you could just use your snips. That's what I'm going to go with. And then these pieces don't have adhesive on them and they're decent. They can go into back into and be used for something else. This one has a little glue on it. These are kind of small, so these will probably go into the trash. If I wouldn't have had glue on this one, it would have been saved. So now I need to come through and adhere that blue down to my base. I need to adhere them all down. Is this gonna... Okay, I think I didn't get this. That's why that liquid glue is great. Let's see, I have a little overage here, so let me just trim that off. So again, do we see where we're going with this one? We're losing a little bit more paper, but we're going to get 3 papers, and then we're just going to adhere this onto our card base. And we could use Tombow, or you could use your tape. I'll just go ahead and use Tombow. I know it's hard to see with that. It would have been better if I would have done the brown the other way. You would have seen my glue. And then this is just covering up that full card front. Now again, it is slightly smaller, but again with that Tombow I can kind of wiggle it. You could set it to give it a border. You just want to decrease your DSP size. And I have the same happy birthday stamped in Night of Navy. But let's see if we can do this little guy here. I need to trim some of that off. And I like just the one end. And we'll put this with some dimensionals. It could even go, it does appear to be a little crookedy, but that's okay. It's handmade. Man, I'm pretty proud of these. I didn't do samples with this paper, but I'm glad how they turn. I'm very happy how these turned out. Gives us a great masculine card. And I'll just go to these again. And these are the neutral matte dots. Should be available. I don't know if they're an online. I think they're an online item. And let's do the off-white one. No, let's do the white ones because this is white here. that one upside down here. Yep. Now let's get this big one. There we go. Okay, I gotta catch up on comments. Fluff and fold floof. Okay, yep. Dirk's Normandy. I give a cow from a farm. Oh, that would be cute to have a little cow. So this one, so let's just look at the first one we made just so you can see the difference. So this one here, we're getting that solid base. Here is like, isn't that fun? So there's a difference. So here is one with that floral, with the floral paper, the Unbounded Beauty. So it's just, again, that white base. Now this one I have as a sandwich fold, but doing this technique, you can use it and do it as a traditional fold. I love how much this one's floofed. And I have, I'll show you that one here in a second. Okay, so using 3 papers. So if you're maybe struggling to use some of your paper, I do think I'm a very pro show off your pretty paper. This is a really great way to do it. So I do have a third one that I did not show, but you could get the same idea. It's kind of a combination between both techniques. So what I did was I just used 2 papers of the size. This back one might actually have been a little smaller. This might have been the like a 4 1/4 by 3, and then this was a full sized. And so that way the valley or the canyon is the card base versus the DSP being a card base. Okay, so here DSP's card base in here, but you could do it and just do 2. So it'd be kind of doing this one, but without this brown one, and it would show. So I think this one looks just as cute too. And I think I thought about trying to get a sentiment to go into here, but since I picked Berry Burst, it's a little hard to get I'd have to use black ink probably, and I didn't think that would look very good. So I just did a little happy birthday banner. So I think it would be cute for this version to do some embossing before you do the tear. Okay. You could emboss this whole front before putting on the DSP as well, so you'd have like an embossed canyon. So this one's kind of like this one, but it's got that. You don't need this. Again, I think this is the way to go. Just use the full DSP to create that look. I do have to say, it is fun doing this version because of tearing the card front. I think it freaks people out. And it's, something we just don't do. They're just so cute. This I just did a little diagonal cut with that sentiment. Here I have a punch, which this needs some more dimensionals because it's rocking and rolling. So I did the ribbon because I thought it needed. I was like, oh, I wish I would have embossed this one. But isn't this paper really cool, this floral? If you haven't been using it, because this set of in colors is super bright. This stamp set is coming in the new catalog. So there we go. That's the project today. Yay! I'm really, really happy how these turned out. And I think it's funny that they kind of make like their own little river or something. So I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll make some more of these. It makes a great masculine card. Think about doing this with just maybe blues and greens. Let's say you didn't have like a masculine cardstock and you just emboss them all in different folders and then do this. You know, you could have like a gradient of blues with different emboss. That would be kind of a cool idea. So I hope you all try this because it's fun. I love tearing the paper. That's why when I kept seeing it, I was like, yeah, this is my type of project. Let's tear that paper. And then the next thing I want to do is mix in that two-tone cardstock. Maybe that's the one for a guy with the two-tone cardstock. And you could just like flip it and have the dark and the light. So that's an idea too. So thank you for being here. Please, again, make sure to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you are not already, and free shipping the next 3 days for your orders of $75 or more. Paper Pumpkin refill and add-on sale tomorrow and Thursday only. So you can take advantage of the free shipping with the Paper Pumpkin refill sale. And I do believe that will be it. Don't forget about my crop if you're here locally. Don't forget about designer series paper and ribbon share out of the new catalog. Going to be a great way to get a little bit of something new for a very small investment. And I just love doing those. Everybody loves the shares. I've never had anybody disappointed. So please consider that. If you need the information for the shares, you can head over to my Facebook page. There is that I do know is linked in the description. Also, the information is on the newsletter I sent out this morning. So thank you all for joining me. We will see you next Tuesday here again at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. 6:30 p.m. ish Central Time.